the Canfield Fairgrounds. A killing field to the men and machines of the MTRA. Today, we'll see who avoids a dusting and who lays claim to this monstrous militarized zone. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the Penda Monster Truck Thunder Drag Series. Today, it's the Penda Monster Truck Thunder Drags from the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio. Hi, everybody, I'm Gary Lee, and welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. This is our second visit to this racing facility. As you can see from the opening, this track can really serve up the mayhem. Actually, it's a pulling track, so these monster trucks with the huge tires really kick up the dirt. In fact, it almost looks like a bomb going off. Well, over trackside right now is my colleague Armstrong, and he is surveying the conditions of today's battlefield.
Lane choice at Canfield, Ohio, Gary Lee. Could be the kiss of death if you're not on your toes. The left lane at Canfield historically has provided some of the wildest action we've ever seen in monster truck racing. We have literally seen them flip, flop, and fly out of that left lane. Now, the right lane is unique in itself because there's a little bit of a hill off the right side of the right lane. That would seem to intimidate a lot of the monster truck drivers. But until today, it did not intimidate the drivers. However, after the first round session, the Hall brothers have proven that right lane can rear up and bite you big time. So right now, the question is not left or right lane, but which is the best lane? Gary?
Well, Army, here's what you're talking about. Now, this is Mark Hall in the Executioner. This is in qualifying. He is in the right lane. Watch what happened.
About 3 foot off the edge of the track. There's a little downgrade. Right there, you see the right rear tire catch it. Hooks a rut. There's our flip-flopping and flying
like a sprint
already.
car catching the cushion and going on over.
Big
Take
time.
a look again. Now watch at the end of the run. Watch his right rear.
It rolls over. See, and you're only running about 4 pounds of air in these tires, and when you get it over just right there, the tire will collapse, and you go on your lid.
A lot of body damage, but Mark was uninjured. Also in qualifying, Andy Brass will have the fast time in Wildfoot. Here is his run.
Worked out of the left lane. The truck does what it's supposed to do. Look how soft it lands. Brass goes to the head of the class as far as qualifying goes.
Now we move to round one. This is Big John Moore and No Problem. And he goes up against Ken Deppy, driving barefoot for Fred Schaefer.
Deppy, the new kid on the block, if you will, takes the win. Moore dodged that right lane angle. He won't be back. Deppy will.
Alan Tura in Goliath, and there is Kirk Dabney in USA 1. Of course, Tura has some less than fond memories of this joint, but today's visit would be short and not so sweet. There's a look at Mark Hall, who would get the Executioner ready for round one, where he would meet up with Don Van Loo. Now, Van Loo was another guy who had a rough run in qualifying there in the near lane.
Yeah, in his qualifying session, the truck hit so hard, if you look at the bottom of it, between the front wheels, he actually tore the hydraulic lines up. So, Hall and Van Loo will be the battle of the walking wounded in that first round.
Well, Hall got the truck back together, but was not much of a factor here.
Van Loo takes the Chrysler Hemi engine, rolls over to the next round, but Hall did get that next run under his belt, and after flipping, Gary, you know that's important to get the confidence back in your truck.
Also a highlight from round one and a mismatch. Rick Rattler driving the Snakebite in the near lane, taking on a Ford Leaf Spring truck called Night Stalker, driven by Steve Combs, who didn't offer the Snake much of a fight. We're coming back to Canfield with round two. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Canfield, Ohio Fairgrounds for the Penda Monster Truck Thunder Drags. Now, earlier, Armstrong took a look at how a monster truck driver actually sees the track from what might be called the highest seat in racing.
A lot of people wonder when the monster trucks go to the starting line why they actually roll up and touch the first jump, why the drivers run up and bump what they're going to be jumping. Well, it's the same principle as you and I getting up in a dark room in the middle of the night. We have to take our hand and actually touch out to develop a field of depth, okay? That's exactly what the monster truck drivers are doing. So the best way we can show you how to do that is to actually put you in the driver's seat 9 feet 6 inches up in the air, and I'm going to go to the front bumper where the starting line would normally be. So you get in the seat, I'm going to the front. Now, right now, I'm standing on the downside of the first ramp. You're set 9 feet 6 inches in the air with the helmet with very poor peripheral vision. I'm walking to you towards the starting line. I'm walking over the first set of jump cars. If you'll notice, you can't even see these cars that I'm negotiating right now, and there's another set on the other end of the track. So at this point in time, with your vision and your field of vision, what you're doing is not worrying about what's on the ground, but you're looking past the finish line at some spot that you've picked out on the end of the track. And you're actually driving the vehicle, pointing it at that spot. The jumps themselves, they're just obstacles between you and the spot. So at this point in time, what you're doing basically is picking your spot and taking your best shot.